G'day viewers, how are you? Today we're talking about the DB Vectron on the new Fulda route. I hope you're well. This is day 5 of recording tutorials for me, so way. And of course I said Vectron wrong because it has to be pronounced Vectron. Alright, let's go. Open up cab door, sidle up to the little step. Now this one is a bit of a tricky little beast, I have to say. Let's get the window open, it's a bit warm. Okay, let's turn our headlights to headlights, release the parking brake, turn on SIFA. SIFA is the device that if you don't acknowledge it periodically, it will stop your train. And that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I think I figured it out. Alright, PZB, you have to acknowledge adverse signalling conditions, and that could be speed restrictions going downwards, or it could be anything other than a purely green signal. LZB is like automatic train control. Now this route doesn't actually have it, but it doesn't hurt to turn it on. Alright, next thing we need to do is pop in our master key. Zug beeinflussen to you too. And we need to cut in the train brakes, and we can look at our headlight config, so we can see on this screen that we've got headlights on and no tail lights, which is fine, because if you look behind us, there's garages, so we don't need to have tail lights on the back, so that's good. Let's go back to the home. Let's just zoom in on this screen again, we'll be here a bit. I'm going to turn on AFB now. AFB is your cruise control. And we're going to look into settings, because I wanted to look at our PZB mode, which is this one. Whoops, this one. So if I needed to change that to one of the other modes, U, M or O, I could. M is fine for this train. Alright, now, if you need to change your power, so we're currently on 15 kilovolts, which is fine. If you needed to go to 25, or go to a different country, you can certainly do that here. We don't need to, but you've got the option. Now we do have line power on, which means our pantograph is up, our brakes are on, our main reservoir is mostly charged, and our brake pipe is ready for the brakes to be released, which is all good. Other controls, let's turn our headlights to high beams dimmed. We have a brake release button here. We have sand if needed. If this was a passenger train, you can open the doors, close them, and open the left doors with these buttons. Looking at this screen, this is the main one for your speed and your AFB setting, which is currently blinking because I don't have anything set, but I will in a moment. I'll show you how to do that. And this is the power or braking power down the left-hand side. So Zugkraft on the right for accelerating and Bremsen on the left for slowing down. Okay, let's pop out of that screen again. So the next thing I'm going to do is set our AFB to 40 kilometers an hour because we will be in PZB monitoring, and click the top, which confirms it. And you'll notice on this screen now the little diamond is now sitting on the 40 mark, which means we'll actually be able to accelerate, which is great. If you need them, and you will, your pantograph controls are here, raise and lower. Your main circuit breaker is here, train line here, emergency plunger is here, and contact signaler here. You do of course have blinds and things that you can play with, and you've already seen we can open the window. Alright, let's get this thing moving. Yep. Did I set the reverser? I think I did. Anyway, just in case. Train horns over here. Germans generally don't horn, but there you go. So we will release the brakes, and we can start powering. So you push this one away from you for power, pull it back towards you for braking. You can see we are applying power now, so this represents traction motors 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're certainly applying some power. You can see the brakes are now releasing, so that's the hill start. It holds the brakes until it applies power. I haven't gone too hard on the throttle, but this thing's pretty good at managing slip, so you can go fairly hard. But just remember, it's a freight train, you're supposed to behave yourself. Alright, now on this screen you can see the flashing 70, which says we are in PZB monitoring, and that we are restricted to 45 kilometers an hour, which is why I set the AFB the way I did. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is, oh no, there's a rabbit on the track. Oh, whack, whack. There we go. So we've saved the rabbit, but we've done some things. You notice it's really quiet. look outside, you're going to see why. Pantograph's down. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. All right, first thing you want to do is take control. So apply some brake, put your throttle back to off, and release the emergency plunger. Next thing you want to do is put the pantograph up. Let's go out and watch that. There it goes. Now, just wait a little while now. So you can see we've got line power on the graph. That's what I was waiting for. I can now close the main breaker. And you hold it until you hear the clunk behind you. And we should hear the compressor start soon. You can see it is charging up the brake pipe now, but you can see the main res is dropping, dropping, dropping. There goes the compressor. Now we can do, if this was a passenger train, you'd do train line start at this point to start waking up the lights and air conditioning and things in the train, but this is a goods train, so we don't air condition goods trains. Alright, we can just watch this screen now. We can see that our pressure is starting to build. We can see our main res is starting to build back up, and is in now that it's not yellow, that means we can actually start driving. So I will release the brakes, and I will apply some throttle. There we go, brakes are releasing, throttle's coming on, we will gradually start to move again, and we'll be fine. Now, if you thought that was a little bit convoluted to reset from an emergency stop, wait till you see what you have to do for SIFA. Now, PZB is allowing us to release, so it may as well. I'm not going to bother changing AFB for the moment, because I want to show you what SIFA does. So you can overpress SIFA, there's no penalty, and in real life on most German and Austrian railways, the drivers actually just periodically use SIFA. And it's a pedal down here under the bench. They keep their foot on it and they just lift it and drop it. Lift it and drop it. They're just letting the train know they're awake, and that way SIFA will never go off. So if you just keep pressing the button, it's the Q, B or circle on your controller. You just press it every now and again, SIFA will never happen. But I want to show you how to recover from a SIFA-induced stop. And this is the same for a PZB-induced stop, because in this beastie it's just a little bit complex. And it's a little bit of a palaver. So we'll let SIFA stop the train when it comes on. If that service up there is lucky, we'll get out of the way before that happens. Oh no, we're going to be holding it up some more, because here comes SIFA, which I'm not going to acknowledge. There we go. SIFA is now stopping the train. So let it stop the train. Put your throttle back to off, so I've put that back to the middle position. Take some brake and acknowledge it. Now we have to wait just a little while. You can hear the compressors running. It's pumping up the main res. You can see that starting to go up. But you can also see that the train brake pipe's not really doing very much at the moment. So we're just going to sit here for a little while. There we go. The train brake pipe's just gone to 0. So there's no point doing anything just yet. And we have some nice German words on down here. Druck auf SB Niveau. And Bremsangeleitung. I think. Bremsi. Brems? Bremsen. Bremsi. Anyway, we just wait a little while. Should see what that actually says, actually. This is a bit of a mean thing to do during a tutorial, but, you know, I'm gonna Google it. Why not? And I want to translate that to English. So the red one says, not much. Oh, it's off, not odd. I put in AUD. I think we're about ready to do our thing, though. There you go. Compressor's firing up behind the scenes there, which is good. Now, let's just release the brakes. And we can see that the little blue bar has gone back up to 5, so I'm looking at this little triangle. we go. The red light's just gone off over here. And the brake pipe is starting to charge. So you do have to wait for the timer for that red light to go off, but you can release the brakes before it goes off. And once the brake pipe gets up to be properly charged, we will be able to, there we go, it's gone blue. We can now apply some power. And she'll start. Told you it was a palaver. So, lesson? Acknowledge SIFA. There we go. We're finally moving again. How long did that take? That was a few minutes. So, make sure you acknowledge SIFA. Because she whacks you kind of hard. Alrighty, I'm just going to increase our AFB up to 45 now. And confirm. You always want to set it for about 5 kilometers under the speed limit, because if you're traveling above the speed limit and you cross 3 PZB magnets next to each other, they will stop you. There's our friend SIFA again. Want to make sure we acknowledge SIFA. Give her a bit more juice now that we're moving. It's a fairly heavy train. I think it's about 750 tons, this one. Pretty good for a German train. And there's no penalty in just knocking the SIFA button every now and again, just like a real driver would. I'm quite seriously thinking about getting a foot pedal, so I can do the foot pedal thing with SIFA, because, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Now, generally speaking, you shouldn't use AFB to slow your train down to come to a stop. So, while it's very tempting, we're up to 100 now, so let's put our AFB up to 95. And click the top. And acknowledge SIFA. So all our traction motors are pushing up the amps now. Head towards line speed on our way to Hanno Hochbahnhof. So you wouldn't use AFB to stop the train. Acknowledge SIFA. But let's say you do need to do a normal stop. So if you're just trying to control your speed on a hill, you can use the dynamic braking. So if you just wanted to try and maintain a particular speed as you went down a gradient, use the dynamics. But if you actually want to stop the train, then use this brake handle. We'll just pop it into brake 3. And you can see that that is automatically using dynamics to slow us down. There's SIFA again. And once it gets close to stopping us, it is a heavy train, I'm going to give it a little bit more brake. Once it gets close to stopping us, it will automatically apply the air brakes by itself. Now, we're not going to run this whole service, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to shut this train down. So we'll just pretend we're changing drivers here at this station, and we want to shut it down and key out. Just acknowledge SIFA again. And as we come to a stand, you'll see the dynamics back right off. Well, it's not really dynamic brakes, they're regenerative brakes, because they're putting power back into the overhead. And you will see it apply the air brakes. There it goes now. So it stopped the train completely using the dynamic brakes, or regenerative brakes, and then it applied the air. Okay, let's shut this beastie down. So, throttle to off, AFB lever to 0, and acknowledge. Turn off the AFB here. RFB. Which is good. And set neutral. cut out the brakes, master key off, get up out of the chair, and set your brakes back to warning signal lights. I'll set your signal lights. Close the window, open the cab door, hop out to the edge, and climb down. Always climb down, because you actually lose points if points are something you care about. Back away from a bit, and the door spot is up near the top there. And we'll just have a careful look for trains, make sure we don't get run over by an ICET or something. And we can climb back up and go, "G'day mate, she's all ready for you." When you're finished reading, what are you reading? You're reading about Train Sim World. Well, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but it's Train Sim World 5 now, so yeah. Okay, you're a funny man. Anyway, she's all ready to go for the next driver, so that's it for this tutorial. Now, the Vectron is a bit of a fancy beast, and it can take a bit of getting used to, so if at first you're not getting there, then keep trying, because she's a good locomotive, a lot of fun, very powerful, and handles most conditions remarkably well. Alright then, that's it for this tutorial. If you've got any questions, chuck them down below. Please like and subscribe, and there's lots of other tutorials in the TSW5 playlist that you may be interested in, and all good now, so see you later.
We played a game.